Ozempic is everywhere right now, and if you are a busy executive or entrepreneur looking at your waistline and thinking that this might be the shortcut you've been waiting for, I need you to hear this first. Here's what nobody is telling you. Without picking up the right habits, the second you stop taking Ozempic, the weight comes back. And it does not just come back as fat, it comes back without the muscle you lost while you were on it. So now you're heavier, weaker, and your metabolism is worse than before you started. Meanwhile, we have worked with executives who lost 14 kilos in 18 weeks while still having 5 meals out per week. We have seen a 51-year-old get abs for the first time in his life, and none of them spent hours in the gym or gave up the foods they love. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what they did instead and why this approach will actually stick for the rest of your life. Let me paint a scenario for you. You are running a company or leading a team. Your clothes are getting tighter. Maybe your doctor just scared the life out of you with your yearly checkup. You think, I just need something that works fast. I do not have time to figure this out, and then Ozempic shows up as a perfect solution. But here's the problem. You did not build your business or lead your team to success by taking shortcuts that gave you temporary results. You did it by understanding how systems work and implementing ones that compound over time. The common mistake people make is following fad diets like keto, Atkins, or intermittent fasting and trying to mold their entire social life around training and nutrition. This creates unsustainable systems that break the moment your schedule gets busy. Getting in shape will only become increasingly hard as you age. Today is literally the easiest day you will ever have to start reversing this. The longer you wait for the magic pill, the steeper the climb becomes. You already eat, you already source your food from somewhere. The question is not whether you can do this, the question is whether you are doing it in a way that actually produces results without destroying everything else in your life. Here's what most people get wrong about nutrition. They think they need to eat chicken breast and broccoli 4 times a day. Sure, that will get you shredded, but it would also make you miserable. And the moment you have a business dinner or a flight or a family event, the whole thing falls apart. A successful plan is never about putting you on a restrictive diet. Instead, it's about finding small tweaks to your current eating that get you closer to your goal while keeping your life intact. The guiding principle is to control whatever is easy to manage and not stress about whatever is not manageable. If you have 28 meals per week and only one is out at a restaurant, you barely need to think about that meal. It will not make any difference. If you have 5 meals out per week, however, you need a system for managing those. You can break food down into 4 categories: lean protein, fatty protein, carbs, and fats. Lean protein is key and should be the foundation. Carbs are not the enemy, but they're non-essential and they're easy to recognize, so you can filter them out easily. Fats can come in 2 forms: tangible ones like nuts and avocado, and sneaky ones like oils, dressing, and sauces that are calorie dense and hard to detect. A good rate of progress is around 0.5 to 1.5% body weight loss per week. For most men, that is roughly 1 kilogram per week, and for most women, it's around 0.7 kilos. This is sustainable, it doesn't require you to become a hermit, and does not sacrifice muscle mass like the quick fix options do. But nutrition alone will not transform you the way you want it to. The real magic happens when you combine it with the right approach to training, and I promise you it is way less time than you think. Here's a truth that might surprise you. The optimal number of training sessions for someone with your lifestyle is 3 times per week, not 6, not 5, 3. And each session does not need to be 90 minutes. We are talking about 2 to 3 hours total per week. That's it. The reason most people spend more time and get worse results is because they follow the wrong training structure for their lifestyle. A lot of people follow bro splits where they train different body parts on different days, or they do push-pull legs, for example. These create fragile systems because if you miss 2 Mondays in a row, you will have not trained chest for many weeks. With full body training 3 times per week, you get to train every single muscle every time, which is far more sustainable when life gets busy. Because time is the bottleneck, the focus should be on training hard rather than training for a long time. Instead of doing endless sets at low intensity, the goal is 2 to 5 hard sets per muscle group per session, pushed close to failure. But training to failure is a skill most people suck at. They think it means making noises and throwing weights around, whereas it actually means executing reps with the same form until the weight literally stops moving. Every session includes an upper body push, an upper body pull, a lower body push, and a lower body pull, plus some accessories for mobility, arms, shoulders, and core. Training preserves and builds muscle, cardio takes care of heart health, and your nutrition changes your body composition. Most people mix these up and wonder why they can't change how they look. Now you might be thinking, this sounds great in theory, but what about when real life happens? That is where the third component comes in, and it is the one that separates people who get results from people who just have good intentions. Think about this. You probably already know more about fitness and nutrition than your grandparents ever did. Information is not your problem, implementation is. And here's the key insight. Most plans are built for an idealistic fantasy life. They assume you have time to meal prep on Sundays. They assume you do not have 5 business dinners this week. They assume your kid is not sick and your flight was not delayed. A real plan has to integrate into your actual life, not some idealized version of it. Implementation means the plan adapts to your feedback. If something feels difficult, that gets communicated and the plan changes. The more feedback you give, the better tailored the plan becomes to you, until you end up with something that truly suits you for the long run. For nutrition, this means help with planning shopping, picking from restaurant menus, and dealing with meals out, events, holidays, and travel. It is not just handing you a meal plan and hoping for the best. It is building systems that work when your schedule goes sideways. Keeping more flexibility and not compromising your lifestyle while you make slower progress is completely fine as long as you are okay with it. The alternative is making faster progress but at the expense of living like a hermit, eventually burning out and ending up back where you started, which is what happens with the quick fix approach. There's one more component that ties everything together. Without it, nothing else matters. And honestly, this is the one most people skip because it's not very sexy, but it is the actual difference maker. Here's something I find fascinating. If you hire a personal trainer, you get the training foundation ticked off, usually badly, and perhaps some accountability, and that's it. If you hire a nutritionist, you get the nutrition pillar ticked off, little accountability, and zero training or implementation. No single service covers all 4 components, and this is why most people yo-yo for years. They address one piece, ignore the rest, and wonder why the results don't stick. Accountability means tracking daily metrics like body weight, steps, nutrition, and sleep. Weekly tracking includes progress photos and subjective well-being. Every week there's a check-in to see if the desired target of 0.5 to 1.5% body weight loss was achieved. If yes, we need to just repeat it the following week. If not, we need to figure out why not and what to change for the future. It is not just the 3 hours per week in the gym that transforms you, it is the other 165 hours spent outside of it. That is why communication happens multiple times a day. Food pictures, questions, adjustments. This is where the actual transformation happens. The weekly review is also the opportunity to plan for upcoming meals out, social events, and travels. Nothing catches you off guard because you have already thought through how to handle it. This is what makes results sustainable for years, not just weeks. So what does all of this actually look like in practice? Let me show you some real numbers. Let me give you some concrete examples of what happens when you put these 4 components together. I am not talking about people who quit their jobs to become full-time bodybuilders. I'm talking about busy professionals with families, travel schedules, and social lives who refuse to put everything on hold to get in shape. One client lost 16 kilograms in 23 weeks while having 5 meals out per week and without giving up alcohol. Another lost 10 kilograms in 10 weeks with 5 international trips and an average of 2.5 meals out per week. This is not about perfection, it's about consistency within real constraints. A 51-year-old got abs for the first time in his life after losing 14 kilograms in 18 weeks. A 44-year-old got in the best shape of his life in the same time frame. Age is not the barrier people think it is. The right system is what matters. Beyond just scale weight, clients resolved issues like bloating, digestive problems, and unexplained fainting episodes even that multiple doctors could not help with. One person lost 16 kilograms 7 years ago and has kept it off since. Mental health improved, a completely different person. That is what sustainable results look like. So here's where you are at. You can keep looking for shortcuts that give you temporary results and leave you worse off than before. You can keep going to the gym without knowing if what you are doing actually works. You can keep dressing strategically to hide problem areas instead of wearing whatever you want. Or you can build something that actually lasts. If you want help putting together all 4 of these components, training, nutrition, implementation, and accountability, in a way that works around your actual life, there is a link in the description to book a consultation. We will map out exactly what this would look like for your situation and whether it even makes sense for you. But here's the thing I want you to take away from this video, regardless of whether you and I will ever work together. You built your career by mastering systems that compound over time. Your health deserves the same approach. The quick fix mentality that leads people to Ozempic is the same mentality that leads to yo-yo dieting and ending up heavier than you started. Today is the easiest day you will ever have to start reversing this. Every day you wait, it gets a little harder. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.